Last time, the kids found Digimon Robocop in a weird-ass factory, and after Tai did a Tai, he understandably tried to kill them. A few pointless cuts later, he was just about ready to wipe the floor with their Digimon, but Izzy found out they're in the Matrix and used his elite hacking skills to win the day.
The Digivolution is up and running. Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know what's coming? A Digi Destiny starts today. Let me hear you say. Digimon, Digital Masters, Digimon are the champions.
Of all the strange things that happened to us on Digimon Island, I never expected to find a secret admirer in the sewer.
Really? That's what stood out for you? We pick up where we last left off, with the kids walking through the sewer. They pass the time by singing, and we're introduced to a new character trait for Mimi, her shit singing.
Singing? Mercy.
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam.
Avoiding your drone?
Hey, come on, I had singing lessons for 3 years. Oh, you did? Did it help?
They keep singing, but Sora, of all people, suddenly panics from something. Apparently some water dropped on her, and somehow the equivalent of walking under a dripping AC unit in the street is a trigger for her, remembering how she used to sing while hanging the laundry and everyone pitch in to say what they miss about their home.
I miss playing sports than taking a nice hot bath.
Jesus, even in his flashbacks he fucks up.
I miss doing my homework. If I fall too far behind, I might have to go to a junior college.
The homesick flashbacks get interrupted by a stampeding horde of Numemons who start throwing perfectly shat out shit at them.
These sewer-dwelling Numemon were like totally hygiene deficient. They loved throwing Noom sludge at you, and they had bad breath too.
No, seriously, all of them are impeccably shaped. A lot of care went into dumping these dumps. They find a way out, and Mimi keeps narrating the story for us, something we haven't actually seen since like the start of episode 1.
We didn't see anything else for miles until we saw the strangest thing.
Really? That's the strangest thing you've seen? So yeah, they find a crap ton of vending machines and everyone's like,
It's a trap.
but Mimi insists on trying to use them, and we know the drill, they don't work, and some shenanigans ensues. Specifically, they're all filled with Numemons who now all have a crush on Mimi.
Hey, let me take you out on a date.
I think he likes you. It's gotta be the hat.
It is a sweet hat,
Mimi, you'll make him mad. Who cares? Besides, we're safe in the sunlight.
and at least it's not raining, and we only have 2 days left until retirement.
Huh? Uh-oh. We were.
Everyone runs, splits off, and Mimi and Palmon are saved by the appearance of Monzimon, a big-ass teddy bear with an equally big naval band-aid who looks seriously high off his ass.
Come visit us at Toy Town.
I think I've seen more than enough hentai to know where this is going. He's also very polite, being very nice as he shoots you with his friggin' laser eyes.
I must say, so pleased to make your acquaintance.
Can I get one of those? Mimi and Palmon are ironically said by one of the Numemons, who doesn't waste any time.
Since I saved you, lady, now will you go out with me, huh?
No.
Oh,
You gotta admire that persistence.
wow, she's so feisty. What a girl.
They find their way to not Disneyland, where they find the rest of the kids giving the same reactions my parents would give when forced to watch Digimon with 9-year-old me.
Oh boy, this is fun. This is really fun.
Hi?
Boy, I'm really having a lot of fun now. Fun, this is fun.
Just kidding, they never watched it, they just told me to stop wasting my time on cartoons and go read a book.
What a delightful activity. This activity is really delightful.
Hey, Izzy doesn't talk like that.
Doesn't he?
Weird. Everybody sounds like a bunch of zombies. How strange.
I love how nonchalantly she delivered that line. It's like going, oh, you lost an arm to a tiger bite and are bleeding to death. How peculiar.
Oh well, they always were a little weird.
Were they? But yeah, the plot dictates that they have to pass by the house where all the Digimon are being held in the locked chest. They explain via flashback how Monzimon Care Bear them into submission. This prompts Mimi's shocking realization that the toys were playing with the kids and that they're actually in trouble and not just weird.
Well, can't you get out of that box and help?
No, we're locked inside of here. It's up to you two. You must be the heroes this time.
Or, you know, break the lock? Break the chest? Do something?
It's up to you two. You must be the heroes this time.
Try to find a key?
That's right! We can't get free until you save the others!
Mimi reluctantly accepts the hero role and the two walk outside when suddenly we get an intense action scene that really requires a musical cue.
This is so ridiculous. Stop that noise! Right now!
Gut-wrenching. But yeah, then Monzamon appears. Mimi does what most parents are told to do with their children when they misbehave.
Hey, Yeti Teddy! Whatever you've done to my friends, fix it now! Or you'll be in big trouble! You understand me?
With about the same effectiveness it has in real life. Minus the laser eyes. But the Numemons come in to save the day and throw poop at the bear. And they're all out of day. The Numemons block Monzamon's attack with their bodies to protect Mimi, and Palmon takes this cue to digivolve to one of the silliest designs in the show with slugs throwing poop. I mean seriously, look at that flower hair thing on top of her head, it looks so stupid. They walk towards each other aggressively, seeing who can growl more convincingly. And proceed to have at each other in the digiboxing match of the century. The teddy bear isn't playing fair, however, and Togumon fills him with needles, enough to knock out the black ear and some of his stuffing and... Christ. Guys, I think he's dead. He explains this whole place is basically an orphanage for abandoned toys, and should Bandai sue over Toy Story 3? He gives them one last Care Bear attack, and the Numemon tries to go for it one last time.
Dumpling, a kiss for your hero?
No.
Wow, what a girl! She'll come around.
Again, gotta love the persistence. Guys? How do we get down? The Mimi episode. All in all, a definite improvement over the last two. The goal of this episode is to show off Mimi and her personality, which is technically the goal of every one of these specific kid episodes, but then you get Sora, who has no defining characteristics whatsoever, so the episode ends up being complete shit. But yeah, they managed to show off Mimi really well. She doesn't learn any big life lessons, but she proves that she can step up when necessary. Her arc with the Numemon starts with her obviously hating their poo-throwing guts, but eventually they show that despite their cowardice and pushiness, they are willing to put themselves on the line to protect her. Palmon digivolves from the emotions the two of them develop towards the Numemons fighting for them, but she still makes it clear in the end that the slugs are a bit below her level. Remember what I said about fighting a champion level Digimon for your crush? Well, it doesn't work if you're a slug. Sorry. Try throwing your poop at her next time to show dominance. Mimi's not such a crazy materialistic airhead in the original. Her main character trait is her straightforwardness about her feelings. She's honest and sincere, and it's more significant than it initially appears. In Japan, nobody, and specifically girls, says no. Rather, they say choto, which is the Japanese equivalent of saying and nobody really likes to express his emotions right in your face. So Mimi's willingness to speak her mind and express what she feels is actually the exception rather than the norm. She also doesn't talk like she lives in Beverly Hills. I'll make a short note how this is super stereotypical and reinforces gender roles for all you feminazis out there. Also, let's not forget that Monzamon is basically a drug kingpin who smothers you with his drugs to get you high both figuratively and literally. And he is definitely dipping into his own stash. Now, since I feel like I bash so much on the dub, I'd like to point out things the dub actually does to improve parts of the show. The original has this chronic problem with long-ass shots with no dialogue, which the dub version tries to remedy. Sometimes to utterly stupid effect like with Everybody Freeze, but sometimes it works. This is the vending machine scene in the original. This is the scene in the dub.
We finally escaped those Numamons once we got outside. We didn't see anything else for miles until we saw the strangest thing. There must be thousands of them.
I'd say under 100.
Or maybe just 50.
How did they get there?
Much, much better. All in all, I like this episode. I like the Numamons and how stubbornly they pursue Mimi's affection. I like the big teddy bear with their hearts attack that is basically the Digimon equivalent of heroin. I love the silly boxing match, and honestly, Airhead Mimi is entertaining to watch. So yeah, I think this is my favorite episode so far. There's this opening shot in the original with this weird Sora looking doll. I have no idea why it's there, and I have even less idea why they cut it out in the dub by simply looping the first few seconds before it surfaces. Maybe they thought the kids couldn't handle it. I mean, look at it. It looks fucking spooky. When the kids sing in the original, they play a variant of a game called Shiritori, where someone says a word and the next has to find a word starting with the last syllable the previous used. Here they do it with song lines instead of words. They have trouble finding a song line starting with E. Mimi isn't singing terribly, she just sings an enka song, which is a relatively modern Japanese music genre which stylistically resembles traditional Japanese music. It's a kind of sentimental ballad music thing, or so the mighty internet claims. An interesting note about TK and Matt's flashbacks, they don't live together. So it would be rather difficult to beat your brother whom you don't see much anymore in video games, and Matt is thinking about the stakes his mom made, which considering he's living with his dad is more than just a little homesick. It's probably the dubbers not being aware at this point which kid lives with which parent, but it's still interesting to analyze it this way. Mimi said she wanted to drink an ice-cold cola, which is why she's so single-minded about the vending machines, as the one she tried to use showed to have cola. Izzy wanted to send emails to his friends. Yes, apparently he has online friends, and not access satellites. When Mimi sees the kids running around like zombies, she notices that they act weird, and the two go around to investigate. Again, she is not an airhead. And now to the names. Palmon's name, though slightly changed in pronunciation, is derived from palm tree, even though she doesn't look like a palm tree. I mean, at best she is a blooming cactus. Togemon's name comes from the Japanese word for thorn, or toge. Numamon's name comes from, and I know how much you missed them, the Japanese onomatopoeia for sliminess, or nume nume, cause of course they would have one for that. Monzimon's name is actually interesting. It comes from the name of a Tokugawa period puppeteer named Chikamatsu Monzimon, and I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce it, but we'll roll with it. In his puppet theaters, he used the format of what would later develop into Bunraku Puppet Theater and Kabuki, with most of his work dealing with double suicides and honor-bound lovers, cause Tokugawa-era Japanese ate that honor and Bushido stuff like it was friggin' candy. Interestingly enough, I actually know about this guy because I wrote a paper on how samurai dealt with the distinct lack of conflict and thus the need for their combat skills after Japan was unified following the Warring States period. In particular, the masterless samurai, the Ronin, like Monzimon himself, who had no master and thus no stipend, so they had to find creative ways to get by as their samurai status prohibited them from working in most jobs. In this case, by writing puppet theater plays about lovers jumping off cliffs together. Look at us, learning random obscure Japanese history facts. My degree in Asia Studies is totally not useless now. And finally, we got our Mimi episode, but will we get more? Will the plot actually start already? Will the Numamons actually get to hit that? Rule 34. Find out next time on Nightwize's digital journey.
The Digivolution is up and running. Did you see? Did you hear? Did you know what's coming? A Digi Destiny starts today. Let me hear you say.
I wouldn't go near that short, slimy